Hey friends, it's Laura with Laura's Handmade Haven. Welcome or welcome back. I'm so glad you joined me today. We're kicking off our first project in the summer barbecue series. Today we're going to be working on our placemats, and we have six amazing fabrics from the red, white, and sweet line from Benartex fabrics to use to make our placemats. We're going to be making 4 placemats with these gorgeous fabrics, and it's going to be easy peasy, beginner friendly, and you're going to be amazed at the finished result. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to choose the 4 fabrics for the front of the placemats. Then we'll talk about the backing and then the binding to wrap it all up. So come on over to the craft table and let's talk about fabric. Now this is something you do not hear me say often, but when it comes to making placemats or any kind of thing for my table, I like to pre-wash my fabrics because that way when I finish my project, placemats are washed a lot and you don't want them to shrink after all of your work. So you want any of that shrinkage to happen before you make your project. So these have all been pre-washed and then pressed back nice and neat. So the first thing we're going to do is pick our 4 fabrics for the front, and these are the ones we're going to work with for that. So we have our cute little strawberries, a blue gingham, the blue words, and the focus fabric is going to be our strawberry celebration. All right, so we need 3 2.5-inch cuts from each of these 4 fabrics, and this red gingham is going to be our binding, and we need 6 2.5 cuts from that. And then our gorgeous blue plaid here is going to be the backing of our placemats, and we're going to need 4 12.5 by 18.5 inch pieces from it. In addition to that, you're also going to need either some fusible fleece or some leftover batting or some batting off the roll if you don't have any leftovers. And you're going to need 4 pieces of that are also 12.5 by 18.5. So let me get these fabrics unfolded and cut. Now remember, all of these fabrics were pre-washed. So I do have some little frayed edges over here. I'm just going to clean those up first so I can get a nice even cut for my 2.5-inch strips. Now I like, when I cut my 2.5-inch strips, I like cutting with the first cut at 5 inches and then backing down to 2.5, just because that way I only have to deal with that 2.5-inch cut once and not twice. Now you do run the risk if you do it that way. If you miscut, then you're going to mess up 2 strips instead of 1. So just keep that in mind if you take that little tip. Just make sure you keep your hand on your ruler and get those nice even cuts. Now these are going to go just off to the side for right now, and we're going to cut our binding next. Again, these are our binding strips, so they're going to go off to the side. And now for the backs of our placemats, we're going to cut those at 18.5 by 12.5. Now I'm working with 1-yard cuts of all of these fabrics, so and I have several projects to make. So I do want to be a little careful and a little frugal with my cuts. So I am going to go ahead and get these cut straight. Now all these fabrics, you're going to see them again in other projects that we have coming up. So don't think this is the only time you're going to see these patterns. They're definitely going to be around again. I am not going to throw this little scrap away that's down here. We are going to save that because we may end up using it in another project coming up. All of our scraps are going to be saved because I do have some scrap projects that I'm going to be making and showing you on how to use those little bitty pieces that are left over as well. So all of those scraps will just be hanging out till they are needed later. The last thing we have to cut is just the batting. Now, obviously, this is way more batting than I actually need, but that's okay because this was a scrap left over from a quilt. All right, now we are almost ready to sew. There's one more thing we have to do. Back with these strips, what we want to do is go ahead and cut these all at 18.5 because that way they're just ready for us to pull up from the pile and sew into our placemat fronts. You'll notice that I'm spinning my mat a lot just because I want to be able to have my ruler on the majority of the fabric. And all of these little scraps will be also saved for scrap projects. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to separate them Now at this point, you do have a couple different choices. You can definitely go ahead and lay these out in the pattern that you want. You can make up little kits of the strip sets that you want for each placemat, or you can take this to your sewing machine just the way it is and basically randomly choose what you want for each placemat. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and separate them out into stacks of 6. That way I have 1 stack for each placemat that I'm working with. And the first thing I'm going to do, just to keep it a little easier on myself, is I know that I'm going to have 2 strips of the same because I have 4 fabrics and I need 6. So I'm going to start my sets with just saying that I have 2 of 1 fabric, and then I'm just going to grab the strips and stack them up. Now that I have 4 sets of 6 strips, I'm just going to put these across a design board, take them over to my sewing machine, and we'll start sewing them together. All right, so we're at the sewing machine. We have a set of 6 of our strips on the side here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay them out in the order that I want them in the placemat. This is really up to you. You just need to look at it and decide what you like best. And when you make that decision, go with it. Okay, so this is the order that I'm going to have this placemat in, and remember all 4 of them are going to be a little different because they all have the same 4 fabrics, but they have different numbers of the fabric strips in each one. So they're all going to be, you know, complementary, but they're going to be a little different. They're not exactly the same. That'd be great if you have little kids. They can fight over who gets the one with the 2 strawberries. Before I go too much further, I am going to mention I am using a Juki DX7 sewing machine. I love my Juki. I do have the thread cone attachment for my Juki. That way I can use those great big cones of thread instead of the small spools. And the extension table here came with my machine. I love it. I am using a 1/4 inch piecing foot, and I have it on a straight stitch with a default setting of 2.4. Let's see, what else can I tell you? I'm using a Schmetz Microtech needle. I use Mettler silk finish cotton, 100% cotton thread. I think that's usually all I get asked about. Oh, I do have a magnetic seam guide here. I do that when I'm doing long strips, and these are, 18.5 inches long, which isn't super long, but long enough that I like this little magnetic seam guide there just to hold my place. Just gives me the liberty of running my pieces through the machine a little faster than I would if it wasn't sitting there. You are going to notice a couple of my strips. I do have a little bit of writing from the selvage on there. I'm not worried about it. I tried to make sure those were cut off, but obviously I failed. But that's all right. It's going to be fine because you're not going to see it. It's going to be covered up in the binding on the outer edge of that really pretty red gingham. So this will work out just fine. Now, if you do have a fabric, the selvage edge is really rough or thick, then I would make sure you cut all of that off. We're almost done putting the front of our placemat together, and then we will head to the ironing board. I did put a little bit of best press on the fabric here before I went to press them. I am going to press them with the seams all going the same way, and that's just going to give me a better, flatter result when I go to quilt. And so you'll notice that I'm just kind of lifting these up 1 strip at a time so I can get that seam allowance pressed the same direction. Okay, so now that I have all of the fronts of my placemats sewn together into the 6 strips to form the front, I can now start assembling my placemat sandwich. So just like you would do a quilt sandwich, you're going to do a placemat sandwich. And I'm just going to start with my backing fabric here. And I'm just going to I put a little best press on it just to give it a little structure. Because remember, all of these fabrics were pre-washed. And then I'm just layering my batting here, making sure that all the edges match up pretty good. They don't have to be perfect, but you want them to be close. So that looks good. And then we're going to layer our placemat front on top of that. And I'm just going to run my iron over that just real quick. And that's just going to kind of help sink those fibers together. It doesn't bond the batting to the fabric because the batting is not fusible, but it just kind of gives it a little, it gives it a little help to stay stuck together, I guess. And then I'm just going to use a few binding clips along 3 edges. And then we'll take it over to the sewing machine and do our quilting. All right, I promised this was going to be beginner friendly, and this is definitely beginner friendly. All I'm going to do is I'm going to do a very large zigzag, the biggest zigzag my machine will do, 3 times down between these strips. I'm not going between every single strip because the batting I'm using is cotton, and you don't need to go between every single strip. You have a bigger area than that, so when you wash it, the batting's not going to scrunch up and cause you problems. You have about a 12-inch. This is like the Pellon 100% cotton batting. You have about a 12-inch segment that you can actually go without quilting and it's fine. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to follow that stitch line or the seam all the way across my placemat and just do that very large zigzag. Now my top thread is white to kind of blend in with the fabrics, and my bobbin thread is a dark blue to blend in with my backing fabric of the placemat. And like I said, I'm not doing every strip. That's why I skipped one. And I am going to go the same direction though. I'm going to start on the same end and sew the same way for each one of these lines. I've just found that it reduces the chance for puckering when you're doing quilting on your domestic machine like this. And we are going to be putting our binding onto our placemats. And the first thing that I have done before doing that is I've just sewn 2 strips end to end. And this is going to take about a strip and a half with a fabric to get around our placemat because we have about 60 inches. So with the seam allowances and everything, it's going to take about 60 inches. You're going to put your binding onto your placemat the same way you would a quilt. So we're going to start by flipping our placemats face down. And I'm going to start somewhere here in the middle. And I want to leave a pretty good little tail here, but I don't want to have too much excess because I really have cut my strips pretty close to what I need. Now I have my presser foot set on a 1/4 inch, so it's moved the needle over so I can run it right along the edge of my presser foot and have a 1/4 inch from the edge. If you have not finished a quilt before, if this is your first sewing project with binding, please go ahead and check out one of my other videos, the happy hour finishing video. I go through step by step on how to apply the binding. There are some other videos on my channel too that talk about applying binding to quilts. It's going to be the same concept to apply it to your placemats. Okay, so we have all of the binding attached to the back of our placemats, and now we're just going to fold it over to the front to finish them off. I am using a red thread in my top and a blue thread in my bobbin, because that way when I put these over, the red's going to blend with that red gingham and the blue's going to blend with my blue background. So I'm just going to go ahead and go around here, and again, it's just like finishing off a quilt. The only place that you may have issues are on the corners. Just take it slow and you can do it. Okay, here we have it. We have 4 adorable red, white, and sweet placemats made for our summer barbecue series. And I am so excited about these, you guys. They are so pretty. I love the fabrics. The fabrics from Benartex are just so vibrant and so nice to work with. It's like really nice quilting cotton. So check them out if you haven't before. And just to recap what you're gonna need to make this project, you need 12 2.5-inch strips for the fronts of your placemats, another 6 2.5-inch strips for the binding around, and then you're gonna need some yardage for the back of your placemats. You're gonna need around 24 inches. I would just go ahead and get the yard because you know you're gonna use those scraps in another project sometime anyway. And then in addition to that, you're either gonna need some fusible fleece or some cotton batting just for that sandwich layer in between the front and the back of your placemat. Now all of my fabrics, just a reminder, I did pre-wash all of them. That way when I wash these the next time, because you know someone's gonna spill barbecue sauce on them, when you wash these the next time, they're not gonna shrink and they're not going to do that crinkly look like I love with my quilts. I rarely pre-wash my fabrics for quilting, but when it comes to placemats, napkins, things like that, I will pre-wash the fabrics because I want all that shrinkage out of them before I make my project. I can't wait to show you the rest of the projects I have in store for our summer barbecue series. Next time, we're gonna be talking about some fabric napkins, and it's gonna be a no-sew method. So check that out. And until next time, find joy in all you do, carve out some time for crafting and creating, and remember, it's always better when you make stuff up.